Hello, back again with another one of these best of lists. I was gonna do it last week and just didn't have time. Things happened, but I was given the idea. I wanted to do a top 10 best DC films, but I realized live action DC films have been good, but not all of them. I want to throw some animated films in there, so I'm going to do two top 5 lists. Today's top 5 is going to be my top 5. I have to say that. My top 5 favorite, not saying the 5 best, my 5 favorite DC animated films that I have seen. Having said that, I have not seen, I think it was Batman Year One. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen the new one, Gotham by Gaslight. That's getting really good reviews. So this is just the top 5 that I've seen. I won't go too far into any of them because I want people to see them. So these are my 5 favorite DC animated films. I can't do a favorite Marvel animated list because Marvel has some good animated shows, but their animated movies, I've only seen 2 and I didn't really care for either one of them, so sorry, Marvel guys. I am not a separate, I don't separate, I like both DC and Marvel. My favorite comic book character of all time is Batman. You'll see that in this list. But I still love Marvel Comics, so alright. I won't go too far into detail on these, just gonna shoot them at you. It's 5 or 6 people are gonna watch this anyway, so oh well. Alright, my number 5 is Justice League, Throne of Atlantis. This is a really good one. People who say an Aquaman movie can't work, no, you should watch Justice League, Throne of Atlantis. It's based on the graphic novel, which I honestly have not read. It was at a time when I didn't have the opportunity to read comics, so I don't know how close to the source material it is. Somebody else might read the comic and tell me like, dude, no, it's nothing like the comic book. But as far as what I like, this was just really good. I had a lot of fun watching it, so Justice League, Throne of Atlantis is my number 5. Number 4 is, it was hard to put this at number 4, but couple I liked a little bit more, but I love this movie. I saw this years ago. I've yet to buy it on Blu-ray. I still have a DVD, and that is Batman Under the Red Hood. If you are a comic book reader and you're not currently reading Red Hood and the Outlaws, get on that. It is one of the best titles going today. This is the origin story of the Red Hood. If you don't know who Red Hood is, I won't give away who he is, how he came to be who he is. That is a fantastic story. It's just, this is a very violent, very brutal, it says PG-13, but I'm betting somewhere there's an R cut of this, and I'd really like to see that. So Batman Under the Red Hood is my number 4. Number 3 is a movie that I never even really wanted to see because it looked kind of dumb, and during, I think it was last year's Black Friday sales, they had a whole lot of the DC Blu-rays on sale for like $3.99 at Best Buy. So we picked up Justice League Dark, and oh my god, this one's rated R. And in the opening scene of the film, it earns that R rating. So many fucking people get killed at the beginning of this movie. There's a part where a woman goes to throw a baby off of the top of a building, and I'm in there like, what, you're throwing a baby off a building? Okay. Tell me more. And then Batman shows up and fucks it up. Stops her from throwing the baby off. But the best part about that scene is she goes to throw the baby, Batman catches the baby, and then you just hear splat and the woman kills herself. My dog's going crazy. Okay, so weird thing about this movie though, while there are members of the Justice League in it, Wonder Woman shows up in it, Superman does show up in it, it's really not a Justice League film. It's more about Batman, Zatanna, and John Constantine, and a guy, I think his name is Deadman, I think that's what they call him, or Deadman, I don't remember his actual name, he's like a ghost dude. But it's really more, yeah, it focuses on Batman, Zatanna, and John Constantine, which is really neat. It's a very good movie. It's really short, too. It's 1 hour and 16 minutes. So if you find this, pick this up and give it a watch if you're into DC animated films. My number 2 and my number 1 are probably going to be duds. My number 2 is a film I've already reviewed on this channel, so I won't go too far into it, and that is the animated Wonder Woman film. Get another up-close look. There's some shiny going on there. This is fantastic. I love the Wonder Woman movie, the Gal Gadot movie. Love it. In fact, if I turn the camera around right now, you'd see I have posters up on the wall and shit. Like, we've got walls of figures of Wonder Woman stuff, and I love the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman film. Overall, yes, it's probably a better movie, but as far as the origin story, this one gets it a little better. This was like $20 when it first came out, which was crazy for an animated Blu-ray film to be $20. But it's finally dropped back down in price. We got it for like $11.99, I think, and it's absolutely worth that. This is another one that's really not that long. This one's an hour and 14 minutes long. I've already reviewed it. Go to my my video where I reviewed this already, and you'll find out why I loved it so much. Number one is the only DC animated film I've ever seen in a theater. I don't know how many of them have been released to theaters, but I went to see this one with a good friend of mine. Well, we were really good friends back then, and it was one of those movies that we had nothing to do, and his mom drove us to the discount theater, and we saw, in my opinion, to be the greatest animated, probably one of the greatest animated films of all time, just superhero aside, but as far as superhero films go, everybody already probably knows. If you're into DC, you already know what it is, and that is Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. This is a work of art. This is a masterpiece. It really is. If you've never seen this one's it's only an hour and 16 minutes long, so it's really short. This one you can get for like $3.50 now in the Walmart discount bin. This one's super cheap now. Either they just did or they're just about to re-release this on Blu-ray. I might have to get that because I think on Blu-ray this would look amazing. I highly recommend Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. It's probably, aside from the Michael Keaton Batman film, the 1988, I think it's the best Batman film ever made, and it has my favorite version. I'm a nerd, I know that, but the animated, Kevin Conroy, I'm probably saying his name wrong. Conroy, sorry. Kevin Conroy is my favorite Batman, and Mark Hamill is my favorite Joker. So there we go. My number one DC animated film, Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. Next week I'm going to do top 5 live-action films. And they're not all Batman movies, so you have that to look forward to. But I have one last little thing to say, speaking of DC and animation. I have gone on several tirades on this channel, on my Saturday Morning Cheap Seats show that I do with my buddy Jeremy, talking about people who get mad because something comes out and it's not exactly what they remember it when they grew up with it. It's really getting annoying, the hatred that people give, and it's only people between the ages of like 25 and 33, that little demographic there of kids that like were late 90s kids is what we'll call them, kids that were like growing up in the late 90s or early 2000s. It is hatred for Teen Titans Go. Now, it's not the Teen Titans I remember. Yes, that previous Teen Titans show was a good show, but it wasn't as great as you think it was. It wasn't. It was good, and there are some great episodes. And it sucks the way it ended. There was no real conclusion given to that. There was no real ending to it. And I get the anger. You thought you were going to get, oh, we're going to get the finality of this Teen Titans, and it didn't really happen. So I understand being upset about that. But these people who just hate on Teen Titans Go because it's trying to have fun with itself, of course it's ridiculous. It's nothing like the comics. But guess what? That Teen Titans show that you guys stick up so much for, that's not the Teen Titans I grew up with. I was going to go get it, but I don't have time to look for it right now. I have Teen Titans books from back in the 80s. Cyborg doesn't look anything like that. Beast Boy doesn't look anything like that. And guess what? I can still appreciate it. It doesn't have to be what you grew up with for you to appreciate it. Come on, the Batman the Animated Series had very little to do with the comic book. Like, very little. I mean, they created all kinds of new scenes and characters and stories just for the animated series. It was not the Batman that we all grew up with. But Batman the Animated Series is probably the best non-comedy animated TV show in history. As far as shows that are not comedies, it's the best. In fact, it's overall one of the best television shows ever created. But as far as drama and animated go, it's the best ever. So knock off this whole, it's not what I remember so I can't like it. Just appreciate things for what they are. So what, your favorite series gets a reboot or a remake. I gave, my favorite horror film series of all time is Friday the 13th. I gave the Friday the 13th remake a fair shot. I did not care for the movie because that was not Jason Voorhees. It looked like him, but he didn't do, that's not what Jason Voorhees does. The rest of the movie I didn't really have a problem with. I actually thought some of the murder scenes were great. Had it been a different person than Jason Voorhees, I'd have probably liked it, but I still gave it a fair chance. I went into it with an open mind, like, okay, let's see what they do here. Because, as I've said on here before, when I first saw the Texas Chainsaw remake, I didn't care for it. But years later, when I opened my mind and was like, I enjoyed it. So, sorry to go on a little tirade there. I for one, actually really like Teen Titans Go. I think it's funny as hell. Some of my new tattoo, my next couple of tattoos, one of them might be a Teen Titans figure. Actually, my next tattoo is going to be Mrs. Brisby from Secret of NIMH. Alright, I'll be back next week with favorite DC live action films, and this weekend we will be back with motherfucking Hurricane Heist. Yeah!